All right, guys. So this problem, what did we do? What's the first thing you did with it? Trey? Good, the parentheses. So where did 3 come from? And x. Yeah, that. We've done this before, right? And then what do you do with that? Good. We're going to distribute. Watch your mouth. All right. So x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 6. So x squared minus x minus 6. This x, you had to bring them down. And then we distribute that. So x cubed minus x squared minus 6x. We've done this, yes? You guys are good at this. You guys are very good at this. All right. We're doing the same idea today, except we're going to have answers that are radicals and answers that are i's. Like some of our roots, some of our zeros will be i's, or they'll have radicals with them. So we haven't really talked about that. Every number that we've ever looked at has just been a nice number. So we need to see what happens today with those. And this is, hold that thought, just 1 second. This is the end of the chapter. Yay! Finally, we hit the end of chapter 5. No, remember before break we did like a part 1 test? Yeah, we did. We did like a part 1. No, tomorrow to start class, I'm going to hand back. I have a lot of quizzes and tests that finally everybody's made up, so we'll pass them back. We'll track them in our folders and do all that stuff to start class tomorrow. Okay, so notes from yesterday, if you haven't already, make sure you grab those. Complex numbers, what we're going to be working with today. It's a plus bi and a minus bi. You're like, whoa, you guys have done this. You might have an answer that's 6 plus 2i, right? You can't do anything else with that. Conjugates, meaning what's the difference between this one and this one? One's a plus, one's a minus. What happens with every answer that you have that has an I in it? It has a plus or minus with it. Every answer that has a radical has a plus or minus with it. Why? It's 2 answers, right? You took the square root. It's always plus minus. So as long as you can remember that, today shouldn't be too bad. Okay? Because every time we think about imaginary numbers or radicals, we have to always take the square root. We have the plus minus. So they always come in pairs. Is that safe to say? They're always in pairs. Okay. So if a 4th degree polynomial, so 4th degree means how many answers does it have? It has 4. If it has roots, what's roots mean? Zeros, answers, right? They all mean the same thing. If it has roots of radical 2 and 1 plus I, what are the other answers? What are the other roots? Yeah, very good, guys. You have to have a 1 minus I, because i's come in pairs, 1 plus, 1 minus. And then I also have a negative radical 2. Right? Radicals, this is the start of it. Radicals come in pairs, and i's come in pairs. So if you have a positive, you also have the negative. If I have a negative, I also have the positive. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I have my 4 answers. Okay? Could a 3rd degree polynomial with rational coefficients, just don't worry about the rational coefficients, everything we're doing has a rational coefficient, could it have roots of radical 3 and 2 minus I? Why not? I'd have 4 answers, right? Because if I have radical 3, I also have negative radical 3. And if I have 2 minus I also have 2 plus I. Right. Very good. It could be. Right. So how many answers are there? There are 4. So could a 3rd degree polynomial have that? No. There are 4 answers. Not 3. So it's not possible. Okay, so little side note in your notes here. Side note in your notes. I want you guys to tell me what degree is the polynomial. So if I told you it had roots of 4, negative 3, 2i, and negative radical 6. How'd you do that?
Because I was literally doing it as you went across.
No, that's smart. 1, 2, 3, 4, because this should be plus minus. 5, 6. That should be plus minus. You know they have to come in pairs. It's not necessarily wrong, they're just not giving you all of them. But you know i's and radicals come in pairs. So even if you only see the negative or only see the positive, you know they're plus minus. I've harped that on you so bad this semester. You guys know they're plus minus. But not everything comes with a plus minus, right, Josh? Like these, they don't have a plus minus in them. They're just regular numbers. Correct. All right, so what is a third degree polynomial that has roots of negative 4 and 2i? What was the problem I made you start with today? So we know, good, negative 4, we know this is actually plus or minus. So, but I didn't ask what are the roots, what is the polynomial? So just like the problem we started with, kind of refresh your memories, where does negative 4 come from? Here's the hard part. Where does plus or minus 2i come from? X squared plus 2? We trusting him? He's close.
No, because it's a positive. Oh, but then you gotta have something negative. Oh, it's 4.
It's 4. It's 4. Because think about it, if I go to solve this, you'd have to subtract the 4, then take the square root, which will get you 2i.
No, you got it.
Now, some of you are probably like, how am I ever going to figure that out? Like some of you can just kind of rationalize through that and figure it out, which is awesome. No, your brain is the technology I'm going to help you with here. But here's kind of what you want to think about. If it's plus minus, you know that's 2 answers. So you know it's an x squared. X squared, 2 answers, right? The way I like to remember this, so I can do this without really in any thought process, you guys like that, right? I don't have to really think much. Not too bad. I am a positive person. All right. If it has an I in it, it's always a plus sign, right? Because it has to be. If I would go to solve that, I'd have to subtract it, and that's where my I is coming from, the negative. So it has to be positive here. So I am a positive person helps me remember it's a positive in there, okay? And then all you're going to do is you're going to take this number, and you're going to square it. What's 2 squared? Ta-da! Fancy, right? All you're doing is the plus minus reminds you it's x squared because there's 2 answers. I am a positive person, helps you remember the plus. And the 2 is coming from the square root of a number, so you square it. 2 squared is 4. Once I get it into this form, that's really the hardest part. What do I have to do now? Distribute. Okay, so we'll distribute from here. What? No, it's a real question. So x cubed plus 4x plus 4x squared plus 16. Is this good? I heard yes, I heard no. Good. It's not in the right order. So x cubed plus 4x squared. These needed switch. They're not in standard form. Good. Yep. But that makes sense though? Same process you guys have done before. You were good at it before. Same process. All right. What is a 4th degree polynomial that has roots of 3i, 8, and 2? Good. We know this is plus minus. 8 and 2 are just fine. Good. This comes from x squared plus 9. Again, plus minus 2 answers. I am a positive person and square that. The 8 comes from x minus 8 and x minus 2. He's having a pen issue and he's freaking out. Where do I usually start? I usually start with the back two. The inside would be here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Do we need to have a moment of silence? Are we okay? Do you need some therapy? You're going to cry, aren't you? Are you all right?
What's that song called? Who's that by?
All right, guys. So just like before, I usually start with the back two. You don't have to, but that's typically where I start. Guys. Starting with the back two, we get x squared minus 2x minus 8x plus 16. Collect your like terms. X squared minus 10x plus 16. Just like before, you're going to drop that down. And we're going to have to distribute that. What? What?
It's giraffes, isn't it?
It is. It's giraffe. The only animal born with horns is a giraffe. Yeah, giraffes. That's the answer to this problem. Giraffes. I was like, what just happened? I don't get it.
I used to study animals well.
All right, let's go ahead and finish this. What's x squared times x squared? Minus 10x to the third. X squared plus 9x squared minus 90x. Oh. Plus 9 times 16? 100 what? 144. Like terms? This thing's huge.
And we gotta solve that too.
Sure, the answers are plus minus 3i, 8, and 2. I'm really smart, Noah. You like that? Could you solve that? What were we doing yesterday? Solving that. You would have taken this, you'd have plugged it into your calculator, you'd have found that it crossed at 8 and 2, you'd have done synthetic, and then gotten down to this, and you'd have solved for that. You'd have done, that's what you did yesterday, you solved that. You solved that yesterday. We're doing the reverse. Yesterday I gave you something like this, and I asked you to solve it, so you graphed it.
Oh, that right there.
Yeah, I would have given you this, and you graphed it, and you would have seen that it crossed the x-axis at 8 and 2. You would have done synthetic twice.
So now we're just getting those.
I gave you the answers. Yeah, you're undoing what you did yesterday. That's not confusing, right?
So they call root letters in there. Yeah. I'm just thinking they're English now.
No. What is a third-degree polynomial that has roots of radical 5 and 3?
Plus minus radical 5 and 3.
Good. We know this is plus minus radical 5 and 3. All right. Where does 3 come from? It's 5. What symbol goes in there? It's a minus. It's not an I. think about x squared minus 5. If I solve this, you'd add 5 and then take the square root of it.
So you're only squaring it when there's 9 x.
Technically, I did square it. What's radical 5 times radical 5?
Okay, I get that, but I was saying like.
I really am squaring it.
No, it's fine.
As far as remembering your sign, obviously you can reason through that, which I hope some of you can at this point. But the top of this radical bar, what's that look like? Looks like a minus sign.
Yeah, like a line.
Yeah, like a line, like a minus sign. But I mean, it's the same idea. It's plus minus, so we know it's two answers, so it's x squared. The top of that is like a subtraction sign, help remind me that I am a positive person, not radical I'm a positive person. That doesn't make any sense. And what's radical 5 times radical 5? It's 5. That's 5. Now, guys, if you're not confident that you put it back in the parentheses correctly, solve it. Like x squared minus 5. If I asked you to solve that, what would you do? Add 5, take the square root. Oh, yeah, that gives me plus minus radical 5. Okay, so you can always check that. All right, and then we're going to multiply. So we get... Good. So x cubed minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 15. Yep. Yeah, honestly, the hardest part is just remembering how to set it in the parentheses. If you're good with that, then yeah, we know how to do this. No. But wait, there's more. All right, what about this? Depression, headaches. I know, possible death. You're
I
like,
hate the commercials where it's trying to sell those like breather things for like asthma and everything.
Inhalers?
Side effect, shortness of breath. Like that's what I came to use.
you're right. So is it really a side effect, or is it just because it didn't work?
Right. So you want me to go buy more?
Right. All right, guys. Good. This says negative radical 8, but we know that they're actually plus minus radical 8. 2 and 0. All right, so where does radical 8 come from? Good. X squared minus 8. 2? 0? You keep thinking. I'm glad you're thinking. Good job.
What tree is it?
All right. Be nice, Noah. Plus minus radical 8, 2, and 0. You asked me to solve it. Solving it would find the answers.
I get it.
It's kind of fun. That's today's a holiday. You didn't know that?
Oh.
Rip on Damon Day. There you go.
That's more than one person.
Way to be positive. Has to be Damon, because if it was Damien, then we couldn't do that. What do you want to multiply first? The back two. You may not, which is totally fine. You can. It's not wrong. I always multiply back here. Thank you. Somebody's paying attention. Then what? Good stuff right there.
Is there something? Is there a catch? Is there going to be a catch?
No catch. No catch.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Okay, what if I gave you 0, 0, 0? Be x to the third.
Done.
No, really, this is it.